Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet.
He can get jokes, and we're all going to tell jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not pressing charges.
Well, not only that, you're not the guy who's out there, like, calling the New York Times, hey, you know what I heard about Diddy?
By the way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there.
Yes. You ain't got to worry, because all you got to do is tell the truth. The truth is crazy enough, you ain't got to make up no shit. I'm going to say something to you that sounds like a made it up, and it's really in the news.
You know how every celeb has been acting clueless about Diddy's parties, like, oh, I left early, or I didn't see anything, and some are straight up denying any involvement. Yeah, well, Joe Rogan and Katt Williams ain't letting them slide like that, because let's be real, there's no way they didn't know what was going on, especially the people closest to Diddy. And now, with Diddy's trial close by, celebrities are scrambling, terrified of being named as accomplices, but trust Katt and Joe to stay on their neck. So, who are these celebs, and how exactly are they connected to Diddy and their wild parties? First up is Ray J. In a recent Vlad TV interview, he was joking about being at the Diddy parties, saying there was baby oil and all that, but let's be real, was he joking, or was that a nervous laugh because he knows his name is getting thrown into the mix?
We've all been at Diddy parties, but then there is the after party, the freak-offs. Have you ever attended any of those?
Absolutely.
You have?
Oh, man.
Okay.
Everybody was.
Okay.
100 people.
100 people.
Everybody's each other.
Right.
And then he doubled down on the denial tour, saying if there was a Diddy party, he and Amber Rose would have been invited. But that's just another way of distancing himself while still acknowledging he was in those circles.
Amber, like my best friend, Amber Rose. And we doing a podcast together. We doing a bunch of shit together, right? We relate to the same thing. And we both was like, yo, if there was an actual freak off, we would have both been invited. We ain't never got invited to no shit like that. That shit ain't true.
Ray J has been part of Hollywood's elite for years, and let's not pretend Diddy's parties were just some random house gatherings. These were exclusive events, and Ray J was deep in that scene. And here's where things get even messier. In TMZ's documentary, The Downfall of Diddy, inside the freak-offs, he hinted that some big names were paying off victims just to keep their own reputations intact. So he knows who these celebs were, yet he says he never attended those parties.
Basically, quote, I'll give you money, please don't talk. Ray J didn't mention anyone by name, but said these high-profile people reached out to him because of his friendship with P. Diddy, fearing that their names would be attached to his alleged illegal activity.
And in October 2024, during a Halloween party in LA, things got heated between Ray J and Diddy's sons, Justin, Christian, and Quincy. Apparently, Ray J had been revealing stuff about Diddy to save his own skin, and they weren't having it. Witnesses say the three brothers pulled up on Ray J outside the party, and things almost got physical. It took Chris Brown of all people to step in and de-escalate the situation. Now, you know it's bad when Chris Brown is the one breaking up fights instead of starting them.
That party, Diddy's sons, getting into an altercation with Ray J.
Nobody's gonna press Ray J.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen. I mean, anyone can come and try to press Ray, but it's not gonna happen. So.
Okay.
Ray J later admitted he got loud and aggressive, but this wasn't the first time he had problems with Diddy's people. And let's not forget, Ray J has been entangled in some messy situations before. Y'all remember when Whitney Houston passed away? There were rumors that Ray J was involved and had supplied her with the wrong batch of nose candy. And guess who allegedly stepped in to help clean up his name? Diddy and Clive Davis. So, Ray J being down with Diddy through all of this, that's not just a random friendship, it's starting to look like a pattern.
Before we get into the new book though, I want to get a little rumor out of the way that I heard. You've been seen around town with Whitney Houston. Now, I know the rumors back in the day that y'all were hanging out. Well, but what's the deal right now?
Now, let's connect one last dot, and this one is straight up chilling. After Diddy's leaked Cassie video went viral, exposing him putting hands on her, guess who ended up in a very similar situation not long after? Ray J. A video surfaced of Ray J desperately trying to convince his youngins that he never hurt their mother. The whole thing gave off major damage control vibes, as if he was terrified of being labeled the same way Diddy was. And not forgetting the whole Princess Love situation where he pushed her into the pool.
You good? Dada never did nothing to anybody, right? Mama never did nothing to me. Dada never did nothing to mama, right? Everything is safe?
You know what? Stop. 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 Come out.
So now people are starting to see the similarities. And if there's another celeb that has a lot of similarities, is Ja Rule, because he really jumped out the window for Diddy when nobody asked him to. It all went down in March 2024 when Ja Rule appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Now, with all the allegations against Diddy making headlines, you'd think he'd take a neutral stance, right? Wrong. Instead, he went out of his way to defend Diddy.
Again, man, you know, it's another black man in this industry going through some unfortunate, you know, circumstances. And so, you know, I wish him luck as well with everything he's going through. And, you know, and if there's victims in this, you know, I can't speak on things that I don't know about Piers. And so I try not to.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but wishing someone luck when they're being accused of some of the most heinous crimes, yeah, that's not a good look. And don't get me wrong, he did try to play both sides.
Justice, and I believe in the, you know, the crime fitting the, you know, the punishment fitting the crime. I believe in that as well. And if people get convicted of the things that these people are saying, then they should be put in jail. But I also believe, on the flip side, if people are lying about these things, they should also be taken to court, tried, and be put in prison as well. So.
But let's be real, that if is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because the way Ja worded everything, it felt like he was leaning more towards defending Diddy than holding him accountable. And considering his own name has been tied to Diddy's questionable activities, yeah, people are looking at him funny. Now, while Ja Rule is out here wishing Diddy luck, people have not forgotten what Gene Deal said about him. For those who don't know, Gene Deal is Diddy's former bodyguard. And let's just say, he has seen it all. And back in 2024, he dropped some wild allegations about Ja Rule and Diddy's relationship.
On my left side, and then he picked like quite a few of them down. I was like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there, and it said plugs.
According to Deal, there was a time when he personally witnessed Ja Rule and Diddy enter a hotel room together. Ja Rule's cousin apparently tried to join them, but he was stopped at the door. And when Ja Rule finally came out of the room, Gene says he was shirtless, laughing and saying, it's some freaky.
He was like, yo, I don't care, man. I'm going in there. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed him and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? Yo, Gene, that's my cousin. He know me well. Puff was like, yo, Gene, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. Yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room.
So let's put this together. Ja Rule is on national TV defending Diddy, acting like he has no clue what's going on. But at the same time, there are multiple accounts of him being right in the middle of the freaky stuff. So was Ja really just being a loyal friend? Or was he trying to cover his own tracks because he was in on it too? Because at this point, when you look at everything, the parties, the hotel rumors, the shady business, it's not looking like a coincidence. Speaking of parties, one person who was an active member of these parties have now allegedly moved to a whole different country, Ashton Kutcher. See, back in the early 2000s, Ashton and Diddy were running in the same circles. You'd see them together at exclusive Hollywood events, and at one point, they were even rumored to be part of the Frat Pack, a group of elite Hollywood men known for their wild parties and questionable behavior. Ashton has always tried to downplay his connection to Diddy. Every time his name gets brought up, he's quick to say, I was never involved in any of that, and he's stuck to that story for years. But at this point, with everything coming out about Diddy's parties, the question isn't just who was there, it's who knew but kept quiet. And Ashton, he might just be one of those people. Now, let's talk about something real eerie, case of Davy Chase. For those who don't know, Davy is the actress from The Ring and Donnie Darko, and in 2005, she was invited to one of Diddy's infamous parties when she was only 14 years old, and Ashton was there too. And when you look at his history with these parties, it makes you wonder who in their right mind would invite a teen. Also, do y'all remember Brittany Murphy, who passed away in 2009? Here's where things get shady, because right before her death, she was rumored to be sitting on some dark Hollywood secrets. And guess who was one of her closest connections? Ashton Kutcher.
Okay. The storyline is kind of predictable, but it doesn't feel at all cliche once you get into the...
And what makes it even creepier, in a 2019 interview on Hot Ones, Ashton said, "I've got a lot I can't tell."
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
Also kind of crazy that the same way Ashton is denying Diddy is the same way he denied knowing about Danny Masterson's crimes. Now, Ashton and Danny go way back. They met on that 70s show, became best friends, and even went into business together. These two were inseparable for years. But when Danny got hit with serious allegations, Ashton distanced himself real quick. In 2020, Danny Masterson was charged with 3 counts of rap, with the incidents dating back to the early 2000s. These accusations were serious, and when the news broke, Hollywood started turning on him.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
So when people started asking Ashton about Danny, he played dumb. And when you compare the allegations against Danny and Diddy, you start to see some eerie similarities. Let's talk about Stevie J, because he has been pretty silent since the Diddy mess went down. But in a recent interview, Stevie J claimed that he was inside Diddy's Miami mansion when it was raided by federal agents. That means he wasn't just casually connected to Diddy. You don't just happen to be chilling in a billionaire's house unless you're one of their closest people.
In his mansion in Miami, and Homeland Security rushes in. While you're there.
While I'm there, dolo.
You're there by yourself.
Yeah. With the, you know, he has some employees there. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And this is exactly the case here. In one of the lawsuits, Lil Rod flat out accused Diddy of having an ex-relationship with Stevie J. And let's not forget, Stevie was one of Diddy's main producers back in the Bad Boy era. So if anyone knew what was really happening, it was him.
This kid looked up to Stevie J. Now, what if Puff told him that that was Stevie J in the tape?
But here's where things get even more telling, because before Diddy's arrest, Stevie J was one of the loudest voices defending him. When that leaked footage of Diddy attacking Cassie came out, Stevie J tried to downplay it by saying he was under the influence of substances. So why was Stevie so quick to defend Diddy, especially when the video was clear as day? Maybe he knew if Diddy went down, he could have been next to get exposed. At this point, it's looking like a whole ring of people were covering for each other, and Stevie J was right in the center of it. And then there's Young Miami, because her role in all this mess is looking real suspect. At first, she tried to act like she was just Diddy's lil fling, all fun and games. But when the heat turned up suddenly, sis was running for the exit like she ain't have nothing to do with it. As soon as the allegations hit, she made it seem like she was done with Diddy, but we all saw them running together in Miami like nothing happened.
I would never put myself in that position. I don't stand for domestic violence. I'm just not going for that.
So do you feel like with dating Diddy, like, was it a business relationship? Do you feel like it was beneficial for you?
I feel like it was beneficial for both of us.
And let's not forget, Young Miami was living a luxury lifestyle under Diddy. Private jets, million-dollar gifts, shopping sprees, and now multiple sources have claimed that Young Miami was more than just a girlfriend. She was allegedly helping bring women and substances to these wild Diddy parties. Now, if this is true, that means she wasn't just an innocent bystander, she was actively involved in what went down behind closed doors. Then, in September 2024, a Jane Doe filed a lawsuit against Diddy, making some serious accusations. Diddy spiked SAs and impregnated her. Young Miami allegedly harassed her, repeatedly calling and demanding she terminate the pregnancy. And then there's another one of Diddy's toy, French Montana, because the way his name keeps coming up in this Diddy mess, it's crazy. So there's a resurfaced video that shows French Montana shirtless, all oiled up, while Diddy sings happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear French. Happy birthday.
We met in Vegas for the first time ever. You know, I'm sure I heard about him more than he heard about me.
Right.
But when I met him, it was just like, you know.
And let's be real, if Cassie, Young Miami, and even former bodyguards are telling stories about what went down at those parties, who's to say French wasn't in the mix? And not forgetting LeBron James, because he's been vocal about how wild these Diddy parties were. And listen, LeBron is not messy. He's not even the type to associate himself with drama. But that comment alone lets you know these parties had a reputation.
And like we all, hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
And now, with all these allegations coming out, people are starting to re-examine what exactly made those parties so legendary. At this point, everybody who was ever close to Diddy is getting side-eyed, but Katt and Joe were right. More and more celebs are going to get exposed, and that is exactly what is happening. So at this point, the question isn't just about Diddy, it's about everyone who was in those rooms, at those parties, and moving in those circles, because too many names keep popping up, and the more we dig, the messier it gets. But what do y'all think? Did these celebs really not know what was going on behind closed doors, or were they just playing dumb? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I need to hear what y'all think about this one. And if you're here for the real hood stories, make sure you hit that subscribe so you never miss what's really going on in the industry.